Hey, Scleroderma Smart here, coming to you from the Vons parking lot. I just got released. I'm so excited. I spent 5 days in the hospital, in the ER. Now, the thing is there was no rooms available at both locations, both hospitals. So they kept us in the emergency department. You know, they have like little pod rooms and everything like that, where they just bring people in, treat them, and then release them. Well, I was lucky enough to have to spend my time in that department. I had great care that served me. It was just like if I was upstairs. It's just I didn't have like the windows and stuff. So I was like in this one little room with sliding doors and a curtain. But I'm home. Quick rundown of what might have happened. So Friday, everything, I've been having a pain in my right side for weeks and weeks, okay? Took Rio to Harry Styles. Went Monday, Tuesday, woke up to, the concert was Tuesday, woke up Wednesday with the pain gone, but I had just a kind of a gross, it's going to be graphic, so I'm warning you now. Kind of had a gross urine smell. So Wednesday, I called my doctor and I told him, hey, look, you know, something's not right. I started to get pains in, like my back kidney and in my pelvis. So I said, can you throw into my blood work, because I already had an order for blood work, a urine sample, because I don't think something's right. Friday morning, we wake up, we go run errands on our own. I go to the blood draw place. I give urine, and I noticed there was a little something that came out, little fibery red thing. And that's it. It was very, very small. And I kind of, you know, it was on my toilet paper. I rolled it around. It was a little firm. Didn't think anything, threw it away. Did my urine sample, did my blood, and went about my business. I went to go run a couple more errands, and I went to the bank. No, I'm sorry, I went to the post office, saw a couple friends, and then it was about 2 o'clock, and I was just getting tired. I was getting kind of woozy, you know. I thought maybe because I didn't have a big lunch, I just stopped, got myself some chicken tenders at Jack in the Box and a water, and then I went to go pick up Scott. From there, we went to Walmart, and we walked into the Walmart. I was freezing. I was so cold, like I've never been cold before. I have never been diagnosed with the Raynaud's, but my fingertips were literally numb. I could not feel them. I could not get them warm. We did our shopping around the Walmart. I was in a little cart, and I just kept getting more and more dazed, I guess you could say, and I just started to hurt. So I thought it was because I was humped over because my arms don't reach the little handles for the cart. We got all of our shopping done. We've got, you know, I wanted fruit. We got everything that we needed. And I started getting, I was freezing. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go buy the chicken, the rotisserie place. You know, that because they have a little thing of hot food. I'm going to try to warm myself up there. So I take my cart over there, and I'm there, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just going, and things are just going daisy for me. Okay. Scott finishes. I says, you know, I don't feel good. Let's go home. Walmart's maybe 10, 15 minutes away from the house. So we get home, park the car, and I get out, and it's maybe 4. Call my doctor, and I tell me, it was like 4:50, I know, because it was like getting late. So I called the doctor. They sent me to the nurse, and the nurse told me to go to the urgent care up in La Jolla, that let them know that I was coming. But it doesn't close till 8, so we figured we're going to miss all that traffic. So we didn't leave to La Jolla until about 6:15. By that time, I was so cold. I had my beanie on. I was wrapped up. I was just not feeling myself. So we get there. They take me in, talk to me, do some stuff. They says, you know what, you really need to take her to urgent care, emergency department at the hospital. And the hospital's like just around the block. At that time, Scott said that when she started asking me questions, I started putting the word beans into it. So, how do you feel? And I would say, like, beans, and my fingers are beans and stuff. And they said, yeah, you really need to take her. So they called the emergency department and told the emergency department that I'm coming over, told them what they did there, that there was already blood work. There was already blood in the system from earlier that morning. We get there, and I don't really remember much, but I remember the left side of my body was in so much pain. My groin was in pain. My pelvis was in pain. It was shooting up the left side of my body into my armpit. My legs were hurting. It was all pretty much the left side of my body was just it was bad. It was hurting from the inside. It was all on the inside. So they finally take me in, and I don't remember much after that. And then all I remember hearing the words something something, and I would just answer beans. That was at night, Friday night. And then I remember waking up the next morning. I was in a room. The doctors come in and they wake me up, and I remember I asked them what happened, and they told me that I had a urinary tract infection that probably went to the kidneys that caused sepsis in my blood, or I had a kidney infection that spread down to a uterus from the pee, and that caused it. I told him that I thought that I had passed a stone that morning, or Friday morning. That's what that little membrane thing was. And I said I should have kept it. I should have stuck it in the urine sample, but I didn't. So they said, yep, you were gone. That it was a good time. It was good that I got there at that time. If I would have waited, it would have been worse. So they started me on antibiotics. They had given me pain meds. I was in so much pain. And then the little area that we were in was used for dialysis normally. It wasn't a regular room or the ED. So Sunday night they had to roll me back into the emergency department. So I and that's when I was in my little fishbowl in the emergency department, because there was no beds available. But I kept getting the IVs. They kept taking blood, and what they had to do was they had to take more blood culture, and they had to grow it for 48 hours to see if anything grows. And that's what we've been waiting on. So every day I still got my antibiotics. I still got my regular medication. But they did take me off of my immune suppressants. So because my immune was suppressed from the immune, they think that the bacteria just went through my body. They also said that I had E. coli. So we're just battling those two. So they got the results back this morning, and nothing has grown in 48 hours. And the antibiotics that they gave me are going to work. So I'm going to be getting treatment for that at home. I have a PICC line in under my arm that goes up. You know, I don't know how it works, but the PICC line's in here inside me. And a home care worker is going to come and going to show us how to administer the antibiotic. I have 10 more days of this. 10 more days of antibiotics at home that has to be administered through this PICC line. Then I have to make an appointment with everybody else and see and clear it out and stuff. But I feel that if I didn't catch it in time, it could have been so much worse. I mean, sepsis is like blood poisoning and stuff. And it could have started, I mean, I was already hallucinating. I was already, speaking gibberish and stuff that... I don't know how. I mean, I could have gotten my brain. It could have gotten my other organs started shutting down. I do still have that one small kidney stone that they're thinking also that it might have bacteria on it that caused all of this. So now I have to go see a doctor for the kidney stone to see what we could do about getting that sucker out. But that has been my last 5 days. Just wanted to keep you all updated and let you know that if you feel that something isn't right, no, I don't feel right, something feels wrong, then you need to advocate for yourself and either get to your doctor, get to an urgent care, or get to an ER. If you got to sit in the ER for 5 hours and then say, no, there's nothing wrong with you, then at least you know there was nothing wrong with you. But if you have that gut feeling that, you know what, I just don't feel right, then there's something in your body going on. You have to let these doctors know, even if they say it's all in your head, there's nothing wrong. We did this, we did that scan, we did this scan. I even told them that I've had a bad tooth, because I've heard of people getting sick and everything and them not being able to find the culprit. And it turns out that it's a tooth that's rotting, that went into the nervous, all that stuff. So I even made sure that my doctors knew that. Yes, you might sound crazy. Yes, you might sound like a hypochondriac. But you know what? This is your life. This is your health. And you need to say, no, I don't feel good. This is not normal. If you already have chronic pain, chronic illness, say, you know what? The pain I'm feeling now, the issues I'm feeling now are not are nothing like I've ever felt battling my chronic illness. I've had scleroderma flare-ups. I know what those feel like. I do not have Raynaud's. I have not been diagnosed with Raynaud's. My fingertips were numb, as if they were just in ice. All of them. I have never felt that before, ever. I was hurting in my groin area, sharp. You know, I have children. I know what labor pains feel like. This had none of those pains. This was a completely different pain, and it was shooting up the left side of my body, down my arm and everything. So if you feel something, you think something's wrong, you don't think, you know, that something just doesn't feel right in your body, you need to speak up. You need to advocate for yourself, and you need to keep on saying, do it. Go ask for a different doctor, get more tests, do all that stuff. I was lucky to have a doctor when I first started having this that I said, well, can we test me for lupus? Yes. Can we test me for myositis? Yes. Can we test me for pyelomyositis? Yes. Can we test me for arthritis? And I would go back in 6 weeks. Every 6 weeks, he said, come in for 6 weeks. He'd schedule me and do new bloods and do new bloods and do new bloods. And he never said, no, it's not that. Or if it was something completely, he would say, well, that's not these symptoms, but let's test for this symptoms. And I'm so blessed that I have a great team at my hospital who all know me because of my crazy hair. I even had one of the doctors from infectious diseases come in and say, I knew it was you. I knew it was you when I heard your name, Jaramillo, because I always remember your name and your hair. And I was like, okay. He goes, well, you know, so, you know, it's making that impact that these doctors, that you're not just another face, you're not just another file. Because then these doctors, I even had a pharmacist who knew me, who knew who I was, who knew me from before I got sick, you know, when it started to when I was at my worst, who one doctor prescribed me these medications, and she ended up calling my home about 2 hours after we picked him up to say, don't take those because you're on these. Remembering what medications I was on and knowing that, wait a minute, this medication is going to interact with this medication. Because I made that connection with my pharmacist. I've made that connection to where they can say, wait a minute, I know something's wrong. I made the connection somehow with this doctor from the infectious diseases where he remembered my hair. He says, I remembered your purple hair and I remembered your last name, so I knew it was you. And there was a whole story behind that, but that's... But anyways, this is just that you know that you feel bad, advocate for yourself. It doesn't hurt to ask, and ask again, and ask again. We know what's going on in our body, and they don't. So I'm going home. More antibiotics. I survived this. Please hit the subscribe button and hit that bell. And be scleroderma smarter. Love you guys.